All right, we're live, Rick. So today's guest today is Rick Alessandri, from Executive Vice President, Enterprise Development, Univision Communication. Rick, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
And I had an opportunity to spend a little time with you before, and we had some technical difficulties, but I think I worked it through.
I've always wanted to sit and talk to a former cast member.
Exactly. Still have my silver pass, by the way. That's always.
I don't. I wish I did.
Well, I have extra passes if you need it. So let's get going, and I know that a lot of what we talked about before. If you don't mind, we'll just share those stories. But really, this is just capturing your journey in your career, how you got where you are now, and a lot to talk. I want to really talk about Univision, your target demographic, and some of the things you're doing there. But really, how you got where you are today, and talking to the audience that we have with a college and the young professionals that really are interested in your story. So, and I know we all have a journey. So, could you just start off with just telling us a little bit about where you went to college, what you majored in, and really how did you get started in the business?
Sure. I grew up in Yonkers, New York, and I went to college at Fordham University. I was a classic commuter up and down the Bronx River Parkway daily to the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx. And my major was communications. I graduated at Fordham College in '84. And when I originally entered Fordham, my desire was to be a lawyer, and my family always talked about Fordham Law being kind of the great local law school, and my uncle had gone there, and so that was a dream of mine. When I got into college, I realized that I really didn't have a passion for law, and I felt that having a passion for something was going to be critically important to me personally and likely professionally. So I shifted into communications. I did have two passions growing up. One was sports, and the other was music. So during college, I did an internship at MTV in 1983 when MTV was just starting, when they actually played music with the VJs, the original VJs. And I also began working at a company on a part-time basis called Sports Ticker. I started there in 1982. So I was able to explore kind of both worlds while I was going to school full time.
Did you? You mentioned that you were a full-time student, but you also worked a couple of jobs. How did you think that helped you work now? Because obviously, real life experience is so important, and there's a lot of things they don't teach you in college to prepare you for what you're doing today.
Yeah, I think my work ethic, which I got from my parents. My father especially, there's no secret to success. It's hard work. You got to have some smarts, I guess, but it's really about hard work and commitment. And ever since I was 13, I've been working, a variety of jobs, from dishwasher to newspaper delivery to penny savers, to eventually working for CVS, the discount drug retailer. Starting in 1978, and I that turned into a full-time job throughout college, as did the Sports Ticker job, where I managed a newsroom at night. And those experiences, both the CBS experience, the Sports Ticker experience, working hard to pay for school. My parents, we were, classic blue-collar, middle-class family from Yonkers. We didn't have a lot. My parents did their best to help support us going through college. But I had to make my contributions as well. So it taught me the value of an education, and that work ethic got me through college and ultimately into the profession that I, to this day, am forever grateful for.
So did you have anybody that was inside of MTV or CBS, or was this just you going down there banging on doors and starting as an intern, showing up?
The internship came through Fordham. Fordham had some of the best media internship relationships in the tri-state area. I had a choice of sports teams. I was a reporter at the time. I loved writing. And I still to this day tell my kids that, the most important thing you need to develop is your writing skills. I don't care if it's an email, a text, or a business letter. You need to have good writing skills. So I became a writer and then ultimately a sports writer, but the internship developed through college, and those relationships, again, I love the music industry and the music side of the house, but sports was always kind of my number one. Music was like 1A. So then when I landed the job at Sports Ticker, it became, and I didn't realize this at the time, but it became the path I would ultimately go down for my full-time career, and really led me to everything in my entire career.
So after CBS, how did you end up landing at ESPN?
So ESPN acquired the company Sports Ticker from Dow Jones in 1993. ESPN was the kind of the beginning stages of the internet, with Prodigy Sports and AOL, and ESPN was looking at a deal with Starwave, which was owned by Paul Allen, one of the founders of Microsoft, to create Satchel Sports and then ultimately ESPN Net Sports Zone. And Sports Ticker was a real-time sports news reporting service. So ESPN ultimately felt, really smartly, felt that they needed to have access to the content. And Sports Ticker was one of the main content sources for all real-time sports news and information. So we were the source for everyone from CBS Sportsline, Sportsline, the original Sportsline, to Prodigy, to ESPN Sportsnet, ESPN Net Sports Zone.
So, and then I know you spent a long time at ESPN in the Mouse House. How did you work your way up the ladder?
One of the most impactful things for me professionally was, and I didn't know this at the time because I was just a 24, 25-year-old, smartass, but getting a mentor, finding a mentor, and that mentor for me was a guy, Pete Pavese, who came in and became president of Sports Ticker in 1986, 87. And Peter saw something in me, and whether it was the passion I had for the role I was doing or just my work ethic, he really invested time and energy in me. And I still tell this story today to kids that I speak to, and it's my personal story, and I don't advocate it for everyone. But when I was at Sports Ticker, I was going to Pace University for my MBA, and I was about halfway through my MBA program when Peter saw me leaving one night and inquired as to where I was going. And I told him I was halfway through my MBA and that, I needed to get to class. And he said, "Drop out. You don't need that. I will give you your life MBA. You give me 70 to 80 hours a week, and I will give you your MBA." A week later, I dropped out of Pace. I gave Peter 70, 80 hours a week. He allowed me to make mistakes. He allowed me to learn. He allowed me to succeed, and he taught me an incredible life lesson, business lessons. And to this day, he's still, someone I rely on for, big decisions in my life, and still a sounding board for me.
That's just a great story. I think we talk a lot about, and I do too, of what's the difference? Do you really need to get an MBA? Do you really need to get an advanced degree? Or the value of a good mentor and being in a good business that you're going to learn more. I mean, I don't ask anybody right now, really. I could care less where they went to college. It doesn't matter unless you went to Harvard or Yale. Other than that, or Fordham. I'm sorry, or Fordham. But besides that, I look at it as real life experiences, and those things outweigh a lot. In hiring people with character. But so I mentioned Robin Remick, and Robin was one of my mentors when I was on the radio side, and then Ben Sherwood, who is now president of ABC, was my mentor right before I left. And the amount that I learned from sitting in staff meetings, not just about the value of business, but how to manage and communicate to high level people, was so important. So thank you for sharing that story, because it brought back some memories for me.
I know, incredibly important. I've had the benefit and the luxury of working for some terrific bosses over the years, whether it was George Bodenheimer at ESPN, who simply one of the best, to Randy Falco here at Univision, Kevin Conroy here at Univision, Pete Pavese, obviously, working for individuals like that have tremendous integrity, that you can learn from, that challenge you, but ultimately allow you to make mistakes, allow you to grow, is incredibly important. And I value in education. There's no question about it. It's critically important. But having that work ethic, having that real life kind of in the trenches experience, it can't be taught in the textbook, it can't be taught in the classroom. You've got to go do it. And I would not change my journey for anything. I do think there are some careers and degrees that are required for certain jobs, but the path I took, it was much more important to have those individuals, support me over the years.
When you look at rising stars within your own organization, I want to talk about Univision. I want to talk about everything you're doing there. But when you look at rising stars in your organization now, what are those characteristics that you look in those young up and coming, young professionals?
I'm lucky enough to lead the Millennial Employee Resource Group here at Univision called Emerge. And, one of the things that I think the millennials get a bad rap for is their work ethic. I think cultures change, generations shift, and you have to adapt. And that doesn't just mean the younger people have to adapt to what we older management folks have done to become successful. No, we have to adapt to what they now believe success is. And, one of the things that I look for is I still look for that passion, that fire in someone, that desire to go above and beyond. And that can manifest itself in very different ways. Obviously, somebody who's smart, inquisitive, is thoughtful, asks questions. I think one of the things that I've talked to people about, our kind of informal mentoring process here at Univision is, read. I mean, learn as much as you can about as many things as you can. You never know where that's going to become helpful. Learn about the industry that you're interested in. Learn about different industries. The thing that we have to adapt to today, I believe at least, is that what we valued as our path to success in terms of hard work, and I work, 50 hours a week for 10 weeks, overnights, that doesn't matter anymore. Today, it's about a balance. And these millennials, this millennial, the mysterious millennial, is not that mysterious. They want a balance in their lives. They could still be very successful at that. And I think companies, the good companies will adapt to that, and Univision is one of those companies.
Is Univision, is your core demographic really looking at that 18 through 25-year-old multicultural, male and female? And is that what separates you guys being Univision Communications and Univision different media platforms? Is that what really separates you in the marketplace?
I think there are a lot of things that separate us from the myriad of competitors that are out there. Today, it's not just one single competitor. It's a multitude of different competitors, whether it's over-the-top competitors, whether it's direct broadcast or cable networks or digital platforms. For Univision, it's much more about a direct relationship we have with our consumer. Univision has been there for the last 50-plus years. We've been in the communities. We've helped our community empower themselves to live the American dream. There's a very unique emotional bond that this company has with our community. And it's unlike anything I've seen. And I've, again, had the great benefit of working at Disney and ESPN, which are two of the best brands in the world. So Univision is unique, though, in that we have this empowerment platform, really, and our company is a mission-driven company to help the 56 million U.S. Hispanics out there to achieve greater heights. And we do that in a lot of different ways. So whether it's the Spanish-dominant consumer, whether it's the bilingual consumer, whether it's the bilingual, bicultural, millennial consumer, we have a lot of different platforms to serve each of those. Univision, Unimas, Galavision serve our Spanish-dominant consumer. Fusion, El Rey, Flama serve our multicultural, millennial audience. So it's really, and The Root, The Root is the #1 African-American website out there. We're really broadening our aperture to serve an ever-changing, population here in the U.S.
So in regards to the enterprise side of it and the development side of it, talk a little bit about your department and what rolls up to you and your group. Is it spots and dots selling advertisement, or is it other business units and business development?
I get all the fun stuff. I get all the ancillary revenue streams, the kind of the ideas that we kind of pull out of thin air and create businesses, products, and services around it that directly connect with our community. So we've developed, and what was great when I joined the company, Randy Falco, Haim Saban, one of the chairman of the company, basically said, it's a green field. We've never really done anything with this brand, with our relationship with our consumer. Go at it. So we built a team, and the team has been focused on building businesses and products that empower the community. So whether it's our Univision Pharmacia program, which is a pharmacy discount program, free. Over the last 3.5 years, we've generated 2.2 million members. We've saved our community $45 million in prescription costs. That's real impactful, deliverable to a community, is when you can save them $45 million. We've created businesses like Auto Amigo, which is a group car buying service similar to TrueCar. We launched Univision Mobile with T-Mobile and now with Ultra Mobile. We have consumer products licensing businesses with brands like El Chavo, the most iconic character in all of the Spanish-speaking world, quite frankly. So it's really been this broad swath of opportunity to create new businesses and new products.
So does it really take a certain for folks to come through your division or even work for Univision? I know there's a multiple areas of whether you're in sales or events or whatever, broadcast media. If someone's coming in who's watching this right now and listening, what areas does Univision have available for new talent coming into the marketplace?
We are the quintessential multimedia company out there. I mean, we have all the right platforms that we deliver on. We have digital platforms. We have hold on one second, Rob.
Yeah, no worries.
We have digital platforms. We have broadcast networks, cable networks, new products and services, digital assets. So it's really, there's a myriad of jobs and opportunities available in the company across the entire U.S., from our local stations in 60 plus markets to our main facilities in New York, LA, Miami, production. It really is in the classic sense of a Disney, of a Viacom. That's really where Univision kind of fits.
And I think you mentioned something before, and I just thought it was really great. You talk about purpose, and some companies you get away from a purpose. And what you were talking about, the purpose within the community, and I think media companies started out that way, and I think maybe they got away from it. And I know radio used to be very much that. And it was really, it's just great to hear you say that. You have a job. And this will get to my question. You have a job that has a purpose, and it seems like you feel that, because you've come from that fabric of blue collar, work your way up, but do something that matters. And I think the older we get, and I know I think about that all the time. Am I doing something that has a purpose every single day? If not, I got to change that. And what is it? Is it that gets you fired up every day? Because I know we all, we hit the ground running every day. And you think about the things that are a challenge to you, but what are these things that are your triggers that get you pumped to get on that train and get into the city every day and grind?
That's exactly it. I think you're right. You reach different points in your career where different things matter. 20s and 30s, it's about just drive. Next title, more money. And then all of a sudden it starts to shift to family and kind of the balance. And, and I have 3 kids of my own, 2 stepkids, a foster child that we're adopting. Then it's about family. And now, when the family's older now, all 6 kids are, 18 or older, it's now about how do I give back to that next generation? How do I do things that are impactful, that can help, from a business standpoint, help the Hispanic community, which is core to what Univision does. But with inside the company, I really, personally want to give back to not only the millennial group in our company, but I also serve on the Women's Leadership Council. And with 3 incredible daughters, as well as, a business-minded business owner wife, empowering women is something that I feel strongly about as well. So, a lot of my time is also dedicating in terms of giving back and trying to build that next generation of leaders.
Awesome. Yeah. What happens when we get old? We start thinking about all these things, right? You get to that point. Well, I appreciate. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. There's no retirement in my. I should have been a state worker. Then maybe that would have happened. So, just to wrap it up, thank you so much for being with us. And you're definitely a guy that I've always had identified, as part of my LinkedIn network, that a guy that I just wanted to talk to at some point. And thank you for doing it so openly in public and sharing this with other people. And this is really the goal for me. Yes, I got to get off the phone just like you, and I got 100 things I got to do to talk about sales and business development and all those things. But I think we're at the point now where we just want to share our experience with people. And if we could help out somebody along the way, that means a lot to us too. So thank you for doing this, Rick. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for thinking of me.
Oh, absolutely. Just hold on one second because I'm going to stop recording. So on behalf of all of us here, thanks for Rick for joining us, and all the best success for you and your family. And if you need those silver passes, I could walk you right through the main gate still. Thanks, Rick.
All right, Rob. Thank you.
All right.